Have you been trying to set up your dating profile and you haven't been successful? Well, this video is for you. How to set up the perfect online dating profile. You find a website that you think will best suit your needs. There are plenty of websites out there. None of them are sponsored by this video, by the way, so you don't have to feel like you have to settle on one particular one. There is Match.com. There is Interracial Dating Central, where we met. There are so many, OkCupid. There are so many great websites out there that you can decide upon which one to settle down with.
And while we know from experience that selecting the perfect dating app is absolutely essential, it won't do you any good unless you also know how to set up the perfect dating profile to include on that app to attract that special someone. For instance, when we were on Interracial Dating Central, my wife might have looked right past me had my profile not been set up just the way that it was to attract her attention and to reel her in, so to speak. And suddenly here she is messaging me and offering me, I want to say a cup of coffee with maybe a little bit more. There was a coffee emoji in my message inbox, in other words. And my wife equally too. So when I got her coffee emoji and I went to her profile to see, oh, who's this that's interested in me? If her profile hadn't been set up just the way that it was, maybe I would have just said, next. And of course, we browse all of the potential people that we find attractive, right? We think pictures first. Pictures first. So you click on it based on the picture. Oh, this person is attractive to me. And maybe the profile is just like, hi, looking to meet someone interesting. I like coffee. Message me. And probably you're like, next, there's nothing like connecting you there. So that could have been true for us too, but there was something magnetic about our profiles and the way that we had done this. And we're going to share with you the secrets to why it worked. First of all, each one of us has a unique personality, right? Veronica has a personality. I have a personality. You want your unique personality to leap off of your profile.
Yes.
You can't just have this generic, hi, I'm Christina. I like hiking and message me for more. It's just, who is Christina? We want to know your heart. We want to know your soul. Get vulnerable. Be real. So whatever's most important to you, first of all, point number one, I would include that. So our Christian faith, right? Talk about our Christian faith and how that attracted you even further to me after you saw this incredibly handsome mug, of course.
It was very important. I mean, my faith was the number one thing that led me to, to browse on your page, actually, because that was the first thing that popped out to me. Some people will look at pictures. I did look at your picture first, but after looking at your picture, I did read the biography. And whilst reading the biography, the first thing that stood out to me was he is a Christian. And that was actually what I was looking for, throughout the profile, what I was researching. I was like, okay, where is the C word? Where is the C word? Once I saw that he's a Christian, I was like, okay, that is a good start. Then let's go from there. Then I started seeing things that you like. You like reading, you like music. And I was like, okay, cool. I like these things too. So we can connect on that level in some way. And so from there, it wasn't that difficult to decide to send your coffee emoji.
Right. And so since God is of primary importance to both of us, like you were saying, looking to see if I was a Christian first was important. Now, by the way, we've had some people message us and say, so you two are obviously Christians. Why didn't you choose a Christian or faith-based dating platform? Well, as it so turns out, we had used them in the past. At least I did.
I'd never used any other platform
Okay,
before.
so this was your first time, but I had actually used Christian Mingle. And all I learned was that not everybody that says they're a Christian actually is, and God led us to Interracial Dating Central. So God can work through any means practically. Sometimes something is in complete rebellion to the Word of God and His standards. And I know there are dating apps out there that are exclusively set up for hookups, for instance. God's not going to honor that. But what I'm saying is He can enable you to find your perfect match on virtually any platform or in virtually any situation in life, whether it's a dating site or not. If God is in it, He can do the impossible, and He did the impossible for us.
And I do think He was directing our steps, or else either one of us would not have gone on those sites. it.
Right.
Because that's not something that I had ever done before. And it fell on my lap, and I was like, okay, let me just try this out.
God was tapping you on the shoulder saying, your husband is on this website.
Yeah, it's not something that I've ever done. And so my steps were being directed, and it was not directed on any other platform except the one we met on.
Yeah.
And so the very first thing for me, though, while setting up my profile, I will say, was finding a killer picture. Because I knew that men are visual, regardless of the biography, which is very, very important. But I also understand the visual aspect that men have.
It's important.
And so I wanted to have a picture that looked like me, something that was also kind. I wanted them to feel welcome when they came to my page. And so that's why I chose the pictures that I did. And the next thing that I did after choosing the pictures were to sit down and actually write out my biography, where I came from, who I was,
thoughtfully,
things that matter to me. And when I came on your profile, I felt, did you also feel the same way when you were putting yours together?
Yeah. Oh, I thought about it deeply. And actually, going back to the point of our Christianity, I understood, going back to what I said about not every person that says they're a Christian is actually born again, is genuinely a converted Christian. I knew that I needed to write about my Christianity in such a way that a true believer would understand who I was, and that genuinely I was a believer, a born again believer, and that person was too, because I knew if they were just a lip service Christian, whether they're aware of that or not, most people are not aware, when they see my profile, having written it the way that I did, it wouldn't resonate with their spirit because they're not born again. So for instance, I wrote something along the lines of, I'm looking for my rib. Of course, I said I was a Christian, but I said I'm looking for my rib. So it's like all of a sudden now, if a genuine believer sees this page, they're going to know what I'm saying. And I wrote more things about my Christianity in my profile. Not just that, but that's just to give you a taste of what that was. It wasn't just, I'm a Christian, I like church, and just like, there's nothing deep. Get deep and get vulnerable and be real. Being real is so important. And my wife is talking about great pictures.
Yeah.
So many of us are just obsessed with using these filters to make us look better or something like that.
I'm guilty.
Well, sometimes it's just playing around and it's fun. But when it comes to a profile on a dating website, you don't want to be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You don't want to be wearing a mask in any sense of the word. So don't start using these filters.
And I think eventually you will go on the first date and the person will get to see the real you. So I think on the dating profile, 100%, put your real picture. Don't use anything else. Get your makeup done nicely.
Sure, yes.
And just take a very nice picture to show that side of you that is, how do I say, sexy?
Yeah, look your very best. You definitely want to bring your best self to the platform. Put your best game on, and that's the other thing that we wanted to talk about is, make sure little things that you would think, oh, well, why even mention this? You would be surprised. Think about grammar. Think about punctuation. Think about spelling. Think about, formatting your paragraphs correctly. Like you would think that, oh, well, is that really going to help? Yes, it is. If you were going into a job interview, you wouldn't just sloppily throw something on your resume with no punctuation, incorrect spelling, illegible handwriting. You know what I'm saying? You need to bring your best self to this dating profile because it really is going to shine through and it's going to cause you to stand out from the crowd.
But also being on there, something that I wanted whoever I met to know was that I was a big family person. And I was looking for someone that was also like-minded, someone that cared about his family, someone that really, would stand up for his family. And so when I saw Ted's profile picture and he was with his niece, I was like, okay, cool. He's a family guy. I'm a family lady. Hey, why not? Let's give this a shot.
And see, this all comes back to being transparent about who you actually are. Be authentic and real, because you're not going to be able to put up an act for very long.
No.
The real you is going to come out.
If you want children, you tell them you want children.
Yes. Yeah. Whoever you are, whatever you want, don't be ashamed of it. If you're a Christian, be a Christian and be bold and don't be ashamed about it. If you want kids, say, I want kids. I love kids. Whatever it is, just because people will say, well, I don't think people are looking for someone who wants to get connected to the Lord. I don't think that I'm going to be able to find someone I'm looking for if I start talking about kids before I even meet them. See, all these ideas, and then you start to kind of like artificially create some sort of false persona that you think is going to attract
and
someone.
it's exhausting. Eventually you get tired. You're like, oh, this is not for me.
It's not. And not only that, believe me, there is somebody for everyone out there.
Yes.
No matter how unique or quirky or what like tiny little niche you fall into. I mean, just think about, for instance, the music that I love to listen to. I love to listen to film music.
Yeah.
There are people like me on this planet, but out of 8 billion people on this planet, there might be somewhere around 10,000 people that care about that kind of music as much as I do.
Yeah, that's so true.
You see, and I'm serious, but there is somebody for me.
Yeah.
Now Veronica loves film music.
I love film music.
You know what I'm
It's
saying? Shine.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. That
Yes.
is so important. And don't be embarrassed. The person you're looking for is out there.
Yes, exactly. If you're a career woman, for instance, that is who you are. You know, I'm not saying your whole personality should be about your career. No.
Right.
So try to find a right balance. Not that who you are will push someone away, but if your career is all that you are talking about, meanwhile you are saying something like, I want a family, you know. So try to find the right balance. Don't just be all about career. And if you are a woman also that wants children, don't let your personality be all about the children that you want to have. You know, show other aspects of you. Show that you can be versatile. That's what I'm saying.
Assuming you are.
Yes.
See, if you're so single-minded in your career pursuits, and that's literally the only thing you care about, again, it goes back to being authentic. That needs to be what you say.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking to finish law school, and I'm career-minded. This is my life. I'm looking for somebody who,
that is very true.
You know what I'm saying?
So the person can.
Yeah. You know, you may not care about family.
Yes.
I mean, I don't understand that kind of person, but they are out there, and that's my point. See, there are a lot of people who won't get you, but there is somebody who will.
Oh, something that is so important when you are setting up your dating profile. Don't use someone else's pictures.
No.
Celebrity pictures. I mean, I went on this site and I was like, why is Tom Cruise on here? Do people not know that we know who Tom Cruise is? Why is Brad Pitt picture here? You know, so don't use celebrities.
That's an extreme example, but a lot of people, disturbingly, will steal pictures, sort of anonymous pictures of people that no one would recognize, but it's because of an insecurity. It's like that Catfish show or whatever. It's like they are ashamed of who they really are, and see, that's where they get themselves into trouble. If there was any kind of a through line, a foundation to all of these individual tips, it would be to not be ashamed of yourself, to be authentic, and to just be out there with who you are. Don't hold back. Your personality needs to pop from that page. Uniquely, who are you? And it needs to come out of how you write it. It needs to just emanate from the photographs that you choose, not just necessarily say glam shots. Those are nice, because I think most sites let you have a handful of pictures. You could have maybe one of those or two of those. But let's get some authentic pictures where you're actually in the moment, in a real life kind of social scenario, so we can kind of get a feel for who you are.
Okay, so when you first join any of these sites, please don't put your phone number out there. Don't put your address out there. Anything that is like vulnerable information, your email, don't put it out there. Because so many people that are not even interested, that are on these sites just for straight people, will try to reach out to you. And eventually you'll be burned out. You'll be like, okay, this is not for me. And you shut everything down. So try to protect your privacy. It is so important. When you make a connection with someone after speaking with them for a little bit, and you feel like, okay, this person is really genuine, and this is someone that I can see myself with, then you can perhaps exchange emails first, then transition to a phone number, then start having conversation there. But anything else, try to be very private. Don't put your address out there. You don't want random strangers showing up at your house and do something
Protect
crazy.
yourself.
Yes.
There are a lot of scammers. There are a lot of dangerous people on the internet. We all know that, and it's no joke. So definitely use wisdom when you're doing this as well. That's a wonderful point.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that once you have determined in your heart what it is you want, who you want to find, who you want to marry, the type of person you want to spend the rest of your life with, don't compromise or lower your standards just because somebody is giving you attention. Don't be so hungry to get involved in a relationship that you just decide, well, I wrote all this stuff in my profile because people will ignore what you say too. The wrong people will ignore everything you've said and try to take advantage of you almost immediately, and you can spot these people a mile away.
Yeah.
But you may be so eager to get into a relationship that your first thought is, well, he's attractive and maybe he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He seems to be a nice guy, even though I see these red flags. He doesn't say he's a believer, even though I say I'm a Christian and want to be equally yoked. But he's saying he's open to Christianity, and so you're making all these excuses already.
Yes.
See, already you're lowering your standard. Stick to your guns. Do not let anybody bamboozle you into getting into a relationship that's going to inevitably blow up. Listen to your gut. Your gut is almost always right. Let me tell you.
Looks are not everything.
Looks are not everything.
You will find all sorts of attractiveness on these sites.
Yeah.
And if you have a wandering eye, you risk making a mistake.
You sure do.
So really take your time.
Yeah.
Study each and every person that you feel like you have a connection with. You have to have self-control. You need to have self-control. You need to use a lot of wisdom. You need to...
And self-respect.
Yes, self-respect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We sure hope that these tips have helped you. I know that online dating has been a huge disappointment for a lot of you that have tried it in the past. You've communicated that. We're sorry for that, but we definitely know that it can work. It may not be the path that God has for you to find your special someone, but we know by experience that it certainly can be an answer to prayer. So thank you very much for joining us once again on another episode of Ted and Vero TV. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.